Welcome to the 30 Days React Coding Challenge, designed specifically for React beginners. Over the next 30 days, you would learn React by building projects. Each day, we would build a functional project that will teach you core React components like props, states, effects, routing, and many more. By the end of the 30 days challenge, you will be a much better React developer. This is day one, and we're building digital clock. So this is the digital clock that we're building. Is at the center. We have this nice background, and then the digital clock itself has a white background. We have the header text right here, digital clock, and we have the clock itself. So this is currently 7:59 a.m. So this is what we're going to build now. Let's get started. So we'll start by opening a code editor. I'll be using VS Code. Then you're going to navigate to terminal. Click on new terminal. We're going to create our project folder on the terminal. So we're going to change directory first to desktop. And then we're going to create our React app, npm create vit at latest digital clock hyphen template React. And you press enter. Ensure you're connected to the internet. And now we're going to change directory to the project folder, digital clock. Now we're going to install React dependencies, npm install. Press enter as well. So now that we've installed React package, we're going to type in code space full stop, then you press enter. This is going to open your project folder in a new window in VS Code. So this is our project folder opening up. So we're going to cancel the previous one. You can see this here is digital clock. Okay, we're going to close this and then we're going to expand this. Okay, so right here we have all our React. So we're going to open our terminal to start our server so that we can view our React app in local browser. So I'm going to be using git bash. So right here in the terminal, npm run dev to start the server. So here's the link. Click on follow link, and this is going to open the default React app. Okay, so the counter is working. We have the Vit logo, we have React logo, and we have a text here. So I'm going to try to make a change in app.jsx. So where we have Vit plus React, I'm going to type in subscribe to my channel. Okay, so if we head back here, we should say subscribe to my channel. Okay, so this is it. This is a reminder for you to subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed to my channel. So the next step now is to do some cleanups. Everything we have in app.jsx, we're going to delete it. Then we're going to use the shortcut REFC. This is going to create React snippets if you press enter. To use this, you need to have this extension. EX7 React Redux React Native extension. Do well to install this extension so that you can use several shortcuts. Then our app.jsx, I'm going to delete this. And then our index.jsx as well, index.css, I'm going to delete everything. Now in our source folder, we're going to create our component folder. So I'm just going to create the folder directly for digital clock. Okay, so right here, in the folder, we're going to have two files, the JSX and the CSS file, REFC, and then digital clock.css. So we have the JSX and CSS file. Now we're going to render the digital clock in our app.jsx. So right here, we're going to have digital clock. And this is what you're going to see, a digital clock. Now let's build our digital clock so that it can give us this. Okay. So I'm going to close this and close this as well. Let's start building. First off, we need to create a state variable that is going to store the current time. So I'm going to name the variable time, and we also need the setter function that is going to update the time to if there is a change. And by default, we're going to set the time with the new date function. So this is basically what I'm saying. Time, that's the state variable. The setter function set time will be equals to use states. Now I want to set the time with using this, the new date function. Okay. Then the next thing is to create a function that is going to set an interval to update the time every second. But we need to ensure that this effect is going to run after the component mount. So we're going to use effect for that. Okay, inside our use effect, we're now going to create the function. I'm going to name the function timer, And the job of this function is to set an interval to update time every second. So we're going to have const timer. It's going to be an arrow function. So we use the set timer interval, set interval function. I mean, and right here, we're going to create our function. Okay, then we're going to update the time with the current time using the new date function. And to update the time, we're going to use the set time function. So right here, set time with the new date function. And then we're going to pass 1000 right here so that the time is going to update every 1000 seconds. After this, we're now going to create a cleanup function to clear the timer when the components unmount. You know, we're using use effects so that it will run after the component mount. We need a cleanup function to clear the timer when the components unmount. So we're going to have return clear interval timer. We're going to pass in timer, and then we're going to pass in our use effects right here. We're going to pass in an empty dependency array so that the effect will only run once when our component mounts. Next step is to format the time in hours, minutes, and seconds format. So after this use effect, we're going to create a variable that's going to hold that. I'm going to name the variable formatted time, and it's going to be equal to time dot to local date string to local date and time string function. So this is going to format the time to hours, minutes, and seconds. So we have all our functions that are going to handle everything for us. Now we need to have our UI. So right here in our div tag, we need the header tag. And it's going to take digital clock. Right. Then we need the clock display itself. I'm going to create a div tag. Clock display. Inside this div tag, we're going to pass our formatted time. Okay. So right now, this is what we have. The digital clock and the time. It's 22. It's the same thing that we have here. Now let's style so that it can look exactly like this. We'll start by styling the body. So right here, we'll have the body tag. Display would be flex. We'll set the height of the screen to 100 VH. Align items center. Justify content center as well. Then we'll set the margin to 0. The padding to 0 as well. And then we're going to set the background to this color code. And we're going to set the font family to this. So we're just using these two fonts. Then for the digital clock itself, we're going to style it. So I'm going to import the GSX file, the CSS file into the GSX file / digital clock.css. So we'll style. This is going to be the clock container. So I'm going to give this clock container paste it right here. Text at the center. The background color will be white. We'll set the padding to 2.5 rem and 3 rem. Border radius, we'll set it to 1.5 rem. Box shadow, set it to 0, 15 pixels, 35 pixels. Then with this color code. Okay. And we're going to set the text color to white as well. We'll set this to black, not white, black. Then we have an h1 tag right here. So clock container h1. I'm going to set the font size to 2 rem. The margin bottom 1 rem. letter spacing, so 1 pixel. Then the clock display. We're going to have font size 4 rem. The font weight will be bold. We'll set the letter spacing, so 3 pixels, and the text color. We'll take this color code. And this color, no, not this. We're going to replace it with the same color that we used for the background. So I'm just going to come right here, copy this background color, and I'm going to paste it right here. This should be better. So now this is what we get. This is the digital clock, and it's the same thing as this. Okay. If you watched till the end of this tutorial, I'm sure you've learned one or two. Please do well to subscribe, like, share, and drop a comment on what you want me to build next. See you on the next one.